Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the HORUS Heresy. I'm your host, David Brains, and I'm pleased to announce we have returning favourite Dan Porter. G'day, Dan.
How's everybody? How you doing?
Great stuff. And you brought your lovely Death Guard for us today.
I have.
Thank you. And we have newcomer Michael, all the way from Norwich.
Hello.
Michael, how are you, all right?
Yes, still alive, thank you.
Still alive. It's a long train journey today. And you brought us some really lovely Emperor's Children.
Yes.
Excellent stuff. We've only had Emperor Children twice on the channel now, so we're looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to play the game.
Good stuff. Now, Michael came to our club here in Peterborough, which is where the channel's based. Had a look around, met some of the guys from the club, and said, you know, I've got some Emperor's Children. I quite fancy it, so here we are. So, Michael, thanks for making the trip to Peterborough and to the.
Thanks for the invitation.
Good, and to coming to the Legion of Peterborough Wargamers. So, yes. Thanks for coming down. Now, there's a lot of troops here, gents.
Well, that's what we thought.
Yeah.
We thought we'd go maximum troops and show that you don't need to take all the heavy stuff just to make an interesting game, basically.
Exactly right, yeah. And Dan, you've gone for 3 runners, a couple of contemptors, loads of troops, loads of specialist weapons for Death Guard.
Yeah, I mean, the Death Guard's Rite of War, which we'll talk about a bit later, helps out because it makes a lot more things troops.
Yes.
But, I always think Death Guard needs a lot of troops. It needs a lot of bodies on the ground, basically, is how it kind of feels quite Death Guardy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Michael, you've brought us a really fast, salty army as well, haven't you?
Yes, and loads of troops as well, but because I think that's what Heresy is, HORUS Heresy. Loads of bolter fire, loads of troops, loads of action, basically. But yeah, I play quick, and hopefully I'll be all over the place very soon.
This is good. This is what we want. So we've got like sort of more of a static force in the Death Guard, and then quite a highly mobile, salty force in the Emperor's Children. But Dan, you're packing some firepower there, aren't you? As well. You know, you've got the.
Oh yeah, there's no point going to a gunfight with a knife, is there? So yeah, I mean the Reaping Rite of War lets Death Guard take heavy support units as non-compulsory troops. Yep. So. I love using heavy flamers. I said to Michael as we were setting up, they'll probably set themselves on fire more than anybody else. But if they get close, they'll do an awful lot of damage. And of course, they've got my favourite missile launchers. We'll talk about Mortarion and what he does for the army as well. But he buffs a lot of stuff when you take the kind of the frag grenades as well.
Absolutely, and both to note as well. You both brought me a Primarch as well. I got Mortarion and. Fulgrim. I completely forgot there for a second. And Fulgrim, yes, thank you. So I'm looking forward to those guys just getting into those ranks and reaping the Emperor's Children down, or your man Fulgrim just dancing around and chopping heads off and stuff. So it should be quite cool, eh?
Yeah. Mortarion's a bit of a ninja, truth be told. We'll get onto that later.
Well, he's got his awesome blink move as well. So
exactly.
Quite looking forward to that. Well, gents, you brought me 2 amazing armies. We've got a lovely board set up for you. We have used this board before, but it was quite popular, so we thought we'd bring it back, and you guys can fight over that. We've got a landing pad and some of the shadow war terrain and some rocks for you guys to play over. Now, before we go any further, it's mentioned that Michael, you won the roll-off to go first.
Yes.
But you gave it to Dan, is that right?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
Yes, I did. I'll be running Maruskara Rite of War, which is Killing Cut. Your reinforcements supposed to arrive in turn of your choice, which should be secret, but let's be honest, everyone's arriving turn 2. So I'm hoping for Dan to move a couple more moves before my reinforcements will arrive. And hopefully I'm going to have a bit more options to maneuver or to surprise him.
Okay, fair enough. So you're not going to be seizing, right? You don't seize?
No, I don't.
Great stuff. And the advantage to that as well, obviously, you can see where you've gone and you can kind of move around you, which is great.
I should say, this is the first time anybody's not wanted the first turn against me, but there we go. We'll see how that pans out.
I look forward to it. And don't forget, we are playing Dominion with Dawn of War deployment. There's some great objectives here. We've got 6 objectives, which Dan has kindly brought for us with your Phosphet markers.
Yeah, I took those to Throne of Skulls last time. They were quite popular.
Yeah, they're fantastic, aren't they? And there's attrition, slay the warlords, and then we've got secondary objective, the price of failure, which works really well because you've both got a Primarch. So let's get on with it. We're going to go into lists, and then we'll see you at the beginning of turn 1.
Death Guard, 2,500 points of the Reaping, led by Mortarion himself. Death Guard HQ choices: I'll start with the thing that's the more observant amongst you will probably notice is not an actually strictly legal unit, and that's the HQ choice. The HQ command team are all armed with power scythes, apart from the standard bearer has a power fist. Now, strictly speaking, we can't do this. However, Michael and I and David, when we talked about the game, decided it'd be nice to have something a bit more thematic. And so this HQ command squad is supposed to represent Death Shroud, but without their Terminator armor. In addition, in the HQ choices, I've got a chaplain, the guy on the right in the black robes. He's rocking a power scythe because he can, artificer armor, melter bombs, and rad grenades, as well as a refractor field. And to the left of him, I've got a siege breaker. Siege breaker's also got artificer armor, melter bombs, rad grenade, power fist, and a bolt pistol. Death Guard elite choices. I've got my two favourite contemptors armed with Carey's assault cannons, a chain fist, and a heavy flamer with chem munitions in the power fist. It won't surprise you to learn as we go through the list, anybody who's got a flamer or anywhere there is a flamer will have chem munitions because it's Death Guard basically. In addition to that, I've also got a single apothecary in an apothecarian detachment. He's just armed with artificer armour, chain fist, and a bolt pistol, and he'll be accompanying the HQ squad. Death Guard troop choices. For my compulsory troops, I'll be taking two tactical squads, just like the one in front of you. Both of them are in a Rhino, which has got a heavy flamer with chem munitions on. The sergeant's got a power scythe, artificer armour, melter bombs, and rad grenades. And the troops, the Marines themselves have just got additional close combat weapons. In my second non-compulsory troops choice, because of the right of war makes them so, I've got a heavy support squad with heavy flamers, heavy chem flamers for that matter. They're also in a Rhino with a heavy flamer on the roof with chem munitions. The sergeant has artificer armour and a melter bomb and rad grenades. And let's just hope they don't set fire to themselves and set fire to more Emperor's Children. My final troops choice is a 10-man missile launcher squad, heavy support squad. Again, they're troops because of the reaping. The sergeant has got artificer armour and melter bombs and an augury scanner, and they're going to be hiding out somewhere and basically trying to shoot everything that comes into range off the board. Death Guard Lord of War. There is only one Lord of War, and his name is Matarian. And here he is in all his glory with his massive scythe and all these other tricks and things that he takes with him. He does buff the army really well. He's not a great combat monster as Primarchs go. He's not in the kind of Angron or Perturabo kind of mould. He's kind of halfway between a kind of like a really killy Primarch and somebody who buffs the unit. Specifically, he makes all Death Guard units stubborn. Anybody's frag grenades and frag missiles and havoc launchers become poison 4 up. And he's got his rather nasty ninja leap that we'll be no doubt seeing at some point during the game.
2,500 points Emperor's Children army list, led by Fulgrim himself, running Maruskara Rite of War. HQ choices for Emperor's Children are Lord Commander Eidolon, armed with his Thunderhammer, Archaeotech pistol, and he's wielding jump pack today. Legion Champion, armed with Phoenix Spear, Artificer Armor, Melter Bombs, Sonic Shriekers, and Refractor Field. And Lord Fulgrim himself, armed with Fireblade, no one else take the other sword. He's got Warlord trait, Voidwalker. That will give my army one unit, one infantry unit, Deep Strike special role. Elite choice, single Apothecary from Apothecary Detachment, and Contemptor Pattern Dreadnought armed with Carey's Pattern Assault Cannon. Fast attack choice, everyone's favourite jet bikes. They got 3 additional jet bikes. There is a Sergeant upgrade, Sergeant's armed with Melter Bombs and Power Fist, and also there are 2 multi-melters on them jet bikes. Troops choice, Legion Tactical Squad with additional 7 Legionaries, Artificer Armor on Sergeant, Melter Bombs on Sergeant, Sonic Shriekers on Sergeant, also Nuncio Vox and Legion Vexilla. Another troops choice, another tactical squad, Artificer Armor on Sergeant, Melter Bombs and Sonic Shriekers on Sergeant. There is also Legion Vexilla and Nuncio Vox. Another troops choice, tactical support squad, armed with plasma guns, there's 10 of them. Sergeant's got Artificer Armor, Sonic Shriekers and Melter Bombs. Last troops choice, which is 20-man assault squad. They all got chainswords and bolt pistols, except of Sergeant. He's got Charnable Saber, Artificer Armor, Melter Bombs, and Sonic Triggers. Emperor's Children heavy support choice, Sikaran Battle Tank. He's got heavy bolters on sponsons and pintle mounted heavy bolter.
Here we go, guys. We are deployed and ready to go. Dan, you got first turn.
I have, yes.
Graciously given to you by the Emperor's Children.
There's a cunning plan in this, I'm sure.
Tactics.
Tactics. Great stuff. And Michael, you've declared not to seize, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Excellent stuff. Well, I hope your plan works out.
So do I.
Gents, can we have a friendly handshake?
All done about that. Best of luck.
Great stuff. And we are straight on to Death Guard turn 1.
Death Guard turn 1 movement. We've started by unmasking some of my guns to try and get some shots onto the Emperor's Children before they completely cheese it towards me in an avalanche of purple. Obviously, I've secured as many objectives as I can so I can start scoring from next turn with my troops in the middle 2 objectives, and also on the far right with my heavy flamers, who are basically giving the finger to the Emperor's Children on the far side of the board, daring them to come at me. We shall see, though. Death Guard turn 1 shooting. We're going to open up with the heavy support quad with missile launchers and the Siegebreaker attached to it, firing into this rather scary Sakaran down here. We've got 9 men in range, so I've got 9 shots. Going to be hitting on 3s, and because they've got a Siegebreaker in there, they're going to give them Tank Hunter on any rolls. Should also say that Night Fight is currently in effect. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. So we're getting 7 hits, and then glancing on 4s, anything above a 4 is a pen, and I'm getting a re-roll for Tank Hunter. So we have 4 pens and 1 glance. So we've got 5 saves to take. I'd like to take the glancing hit first. So on a 4-up. No, so glancing hit goes through, and then 4 pens on a 4-up. So, ooh, close, saves 3.
1 goes through.
1 goes through. So we've got 2 hull points down, and the result of the penetrating hit on the Sakaran is a 5, so that's weapon destroyed, and I believe you've got 4 weapons on there. Okay, so let's say on a 1, it's the accelerator autocannon, a 2, 3 or 4 is one of the heavy bolters, a 5 or 6 will do a reroll. Okay, here we go. 2, so the right heavy bolter. I'm determined I need to get rid of this Sakaran before it starts shredding my troops. So I'm going to fire my Contempt Carries assault cannon at the Sakaran now and see if we can take off that last hull point. So we've got 6 shots, hitting on 2s. So 1 miss. And then it's strength 6, but it's got rending. So I need 6s really to get a glance. So that's 4 glances. Statistically improbable. So the Contemptor's got a clear shot at the Sakaran, but because of night fighting, Michael will get a 6-up cover save.
Right,
4 of them.
Made 1.
It's a valiant attempt, but I think that's goodbye to the Sakaran. End of Death Guard shooting turn 1. Pretty successful. I was quite scared of the amount of damage the Sakaran could put out. Had to put 2 of my heavy hitter units into it to take it out. That was pretty good. Over on the right-hand side of my board, my other Contemptor did a sterling job, managed to kill 4 Assault Marines, which it's quite a lot of attacks when you add it up when they charge in. So hopefully that will blunt that a bit later on when Michael inevitably gets them to charge. The Contemptor did sterling work finishing off the Sakaran, managed to get 4 6s on its penetration roll, which of course with rending allows it to automatically glance or potentially penetrate as well. We rolled the damage. Unfortunately, we couldn't do enough damage to get it to blow up, but I'm happy with a wrecked Sakaran.
Emperor's Children, turn 1, movement phase. Fulgrim, along with his retinue, coming out of a building, going towards the Death Guard units. The second tactical squad is moving forward. They also run towards the objective to secure it. And the assault squad is very bravely going towards the heavy flamers. We're hoping to inflict some casualties and not taking too many ourselves. Emperor's Children, turn 1, shooting. Tactical assault squad open up with bolt pistols to the Death Guard heavy flamer squad. Lord Commander Eidolon killed one already with his Archaeotech pistol.
And I failed my night fighting cover save, so he's properly dead.
And we hit the Death Guard 12 times. Now we're going to roll for wounds. Bolt pistols needing force to wound, and there's 12 shots coming. So we got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 wounds inflicted.
Okay, so 6 wounds. I'm going to roll these in groups of 5 because I've got 5 models before we get to the sergeant who's got artificer armor on. So the first 5, that's 4 dead. And then, what was it, 6?
Yes, 6.
And then the last one is also a fail. So that is 5 men dead. With that many casualties, I'm going to need to take a leadership test. So here we go, needing 9 or less on 2 dice. Ooh, we're okay.
Emperor's Children assault, turn 1. We survived the Overwatch fire, aced it actually. Very little casualties from that. We need 4 inches to charge the closest unit of the heavy flamers, and 7 to go to that Contemptor and smash it to pieces. Now, thanks to my Rite of War Maruskara, in the first turn I got additional inch to move, run and charge distances, and I'll be also applying here. So charging towards the first unit, 4 inches needed. Got 6 in total, so we're in. With a result of 5, which makes it 6, thanks to my special rule, I made it only to the Heavy Flamer squad and not to the Contemptor. End of the assault phase, the Emperor's Children assault squad ran them down. We killed every single one of them. They ran away, in fact, because there were still some men left, but they broke the morale test. They tried to run away, we catch and kill them. As for consolidation, I spread out a little bit because there will be a lot, and I mean a lot, of firepower coming my direction next turn.
Death Guard turn to movement. To start off, I've scored 2 victory points from my tactical squads that are sitting on objectives in just outside my deployment zone. That's hopefully going to count big time when we get to the end of the game. My Contemptor on the left-hand side of my board, terrified of what's going to either deep strike or come in on outflanking, has moved so his back is covered by terrain. A sensible move, I think you'll find. My other Rhino has detached from the squad and moved along to secure a bit more of the terrain and make it more difficult for things to come on. My tactical squads are sitting square on their objectives and holding out for dear life. I've moved another Rhino forward in order to hopefully get some flamer shots next turn on that tactical squad that are holding that one. My missile launchers are staying still, but surrounding the victorious assault squad, I've put my Contemptor and my surviving Rhino from my heavy flamer unit, who's hopefully going to do a bit of damage to that assault squad, which is frankly terrifying sat there in the middle of the board. Death Guard turn 2 shooting. My Contemptor opened up onto the tactical squad with Fulgrim out in the open, managed to get several wounds, but the medic is on fire in that squad, keeping all 3 of them alive. A sneaky combi bolter shot just in range against Fulgrim's squad. Managed to get a hit, but no wounds. More entertainingly, though, my tactical squad camped on this objective, managed to range some shots into its opponent across the board, killing 3 of the Emperor's Children. They, unfortunately, don't have a medic to keep them alive. The Rhino managed to get a couple of hits onto the Emperor's Children tactical squad as well, killing another man, meaning they're going to need to take a leadership test.
As we take a leadership test, it's worth to know that we do have a Legion Vexilla in that squad, needing 9 or less, and rolling 5, they good.
Combined firepower from a Rhino, a Contemptor and a Tactical Squad have substantially whittled down the Emperor's Children Assault Squad. And now we're going to see if we can finish them off with the heavy hitters in my Missile Launcher Squad. Here we go then. There's 10 shots from the Missile Launchers going into the Assault Squad, the Emperor's Children Assault Squad. There's no cover because of the way line of sight works. So here we go. 10 shots, needing 3s to hit. That's pretty good. Only 2 misses. And then because it's strength 8 and AP 3, it's 2s to kill. That is 7 dead Marines. Death Guard Assault Phase Turn 2. Spectacular round of shooting, obliterating the Emperor's Children Assault Squad, barring 1 Marine and Eidolon. We're going to go on to the Assault Phase now and see if we can't get this Contemptor to finish them off and stop them from scoring that victory point. So here we go. We need a 9-inch charge. Contemptors have fleet, so we could potentially roll 1 or both dice if needs be. And here we go. I'm going to re-roll the 1. Oh, not far enough.
Emperor's Children movement turn 2. At the beginning of my turn, I scored 2 victory points. Just one with my tactical squad, the other one with sad remains of my assault squad. There's quite a lot going on my side that turn. My outflank have arrived, the jet bikes along with Contemptor Dreadnought from one side of the board. My tactical squad that is next to them been moving, and they also run. We agreed to do it off camera. And Eidolon left remains of assault squad in attempt to get rid of a Dreadnought. Emperor's Children turn 2 shooting. Multi-melters on jet bike are firing upon the Contemptor Dreadnought. Need 3 to hit. Hit twice. Now for penetration roll purposes, I'm within melter range, so 2 dice for first pen. Rolled 9, melter is strength 8, yeah, so that's definitely pen. And then another shot, rolled 4, which makes it 11, so that didn't penetrate. So there was 1 invulnerable save.
So 1 invulnerable save to make on my Contemptor on a 5-up. Not to be.
So rolling for penetration, I rolled 6, because multi-melter's AP1, that makes it 8, which is below the scale, and it blown up.
Contemptor dies in a blaze of fiery glory, but in the process managed to kill 2 Marines from the tactical squad in a gigantic explosion. Quite pleased with that, although I'd rather have a Contemptor on the board still.
Contemptor Dreadnought is firing up on that Rhino that is next to him. Need 2s to hit, 5s and 6s to glance and pen. They're hit with all of them, so 6 shots hit, and now need 5s and 6s. There is 1 6 and 1 5. There is 1 glancing hit and 1 penetrating. Let's see what penetration do. Rolled 6, immobilized result. Emperor's Children, Assault Phase, turn 2. My tactical squad failed a very bold attempt to assault the Rhino and melta bomb it to death. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. But Eidolon did. He made a charge to that Contemptor Dreadnought. Eidolon assaulting Dreadnought didn't take any wounds from Overwatch fire. And now there'll be his 5 attacks trying to smash it to pieces. Need 3s to hit. His Thunder Hammer is mastercrafted, so I can reroll 1 failed to hit roll. Still nothing, so there's 4 attacks landed. His Thunder Hammer is strength 8, so need 5s or 6s. That is a cocked die, shall I reroll it? So there is 1 glancing hit.
Okay, so 1 glancing hit. I've got a 5-up invulnerable on the Contemptor. Oh, he doesn't make it, so loses a hull point. My Contemptor's going to hit back with his Chain Fist. He's got 3 attacks, and these are going to be strength 10, so I could potentially instant death Eidolon here. Let's see how we go. Needing 4s to hit with 3 attacks. So we've got 1 hit. It's 2s to wound, though. Oh.
Eidolon lives. Emperor's Children, end of a turn 2. It's not bad overall. Maybe I'd like to inflict a bit more casualties. It's a disappointment that a Contemptor didn't die from Eidolon's vicious attack. Next turn will be more difficult for this guy, but I'm still not too worried. 1 Contemptor is off the board. I'm moving towards the Death Guard lines, should be fine.
Death Guard movement turn 3. The key objectives here are to clear off the Emperor's Children from the 2 objectives on the side of the board nearest to us here, and also then, so basically stop the Emperor's Children from scoring them anymore. I've also decided to finally commit Mortarion. There's still a deep striking squad to come on, but the reality of it is I need Mortarion to get into action, and that side of the board is looking far too scary for him. So in many ways he's acting as a denial unit here. We're going to do his ninja leap in a moment to see if we can get a bit closer for potentially a charge. Mortarion has a special rule called Shadow of the Reaper, where he effectively gets to be somewhere that he wasn't before. It's effectively a teleport move in effect. Has to take a leadership test, but if he manages it, he can move 10 inches in any direction. He can charge from that position as well, but if he does charge, it counts as a disordered charge. So the aim here is going to try and preserve the Contemptor by getting him into with Eidolon as well. Death Guard turn 3 shooting. We've started off with the cheap shots and see if the rhinos can do the business first. So this rhino next to the Emperor's Children assault squad has shot it with a flamer and the combi bolter. Got several wounds, but he's managed to pass all his arm saves. Similarly over here, the rhinos opened up with his combi bolter and heavy flamer. Managed to kill 1 marine, but not quite enough to take them off the objective. We're going to have to put a bit more shooting into them, I think. My first tactical squad fires at the Emperor's Children tactical squad holding the objective on the opposite side of the board. Managed to get a few hits, but nothing significant, unfortunately. They're still there. They're going to take a bit more shooting. On the other hand, however, my second tactical squad fired at the remaining assault marine holding that objective and managed to take him out. I used the heavy missile launcher squad to shoot at the remaining tactical squad from the Emperor's Children that were holding this objective. Managed to cause loads of wounds, made also quite a few cover saves. However, I caused enough injury on them to make them fail a morale check and fall back. Critically for me, that means there's now 2 objectives on this side of the board that Emperor's Children are no longer scoring. They've still got one on the other side of the board where Fulgrim is, but those extra 2 victory points might be decisive later. Death Guard assault turn 3. Mortarion tried to get in to help the Contemptor out, but failed it even with his fleet reroll, leaving just the Contemptor and Eidolon to fight it out. The Contemptor is going to hit first now, because Eidolon's Thunderhammer now makes initiative step 1 when he's not charging, which means we've got 3 attempts to try and instant kill him. Let's see what we can do. So we've got 3 attacks. He's weapon skill 5 versus Eidolon's weapon skill of 6, so we're hitting on 4s. We've got 1 hit, needing a 2 to wound, but it will be instant death if he does it. Yes, we've got a wound. So
luckily, Eidolon with his Iron Hallow has got 4-up invuln save. Can he make it? Otherwise, he's squished. He's dead.
That's a great result for the Death Guard there, I think. Consolidating the Contemptor after killing Eidolon with his Chain Fist. Let's see how far he goes. Ooh, 5. That's good. I'm going to move him 5 inches now.
Emperor's Children movement phase turn 3. Last bit of my reinforcements have arrived. They scattered a little bit. That now gives me some options. The tactical squad who broke the morale before, they regrouped. They came back 3 inches towards the objective. On the flank, where I've been scoring the victory point on the beginning of my turn, I'm moving in sort of like sweeping move towards the Death Guard, the jet bikes going forward, the tactical squad going forward. Also, the Contemptor Dreadnought is going towards the enemy in attempt maybe to assault them. Emperor's Children turn 3 shooting phase. Jet bikes were firing their heavy bolt guns and multi-melters towards that tactical squad of the Death Guard. Sadly, they took down only 1 marine, and that was way below average. Then the tactical squad been firing at the Death Guard behind that wall, and again they done well below average and took down only 1 guy. Contemptor Dreadnought ran towards that tactical squad because we need to clear that Death Guard from that objective. It's really good news for me. No get hot on the Plasma Support tactical squad. I decided to go for missile launchers because they were very dangerous. They inflicted me many casualties, and I managed to clear 5 guys. I could go for Mortarion, but that was very unlikely. I'm going to bring him down. Instead, I got very good result. I'm very happy with it.
At the beginning of the turn, I've scored 2 victory points. It's worth mentioning as well, because I did forget to say, but I scored 2 victory points at the start of turn 3 as well. Death Guard movement turn 4. We've got some interesting developments on this side of the board. I've managed to move Mortarion with his ninja jump, I should call it shadow leap really, within striking distance now of the plasma squad. It's a fairly high risk assault there, maybe. This potentially takes some wounds from Overwatch, but I need that unit to die before it scores a victory point at the start of Emperor's Play at Children's turn. In other news, I'm doing a slight tactical withdrawal with my tactical squads whilst holding on to the objectives, but moving away from the onrushing tide of Fulgrim and his purple pals. The command squad I've moved into the centre of the board between the tactical squads, giving both of them a proper fearless bubble now with the standard. This is going to be really important for any morale checks I might need to take, or indeed if Fulgrim were to get into combat, and he's a scary, scary dude. Missile launchers are consolidating their position. They're staying put. They're going to try and dish out some damage. And my Rhino and Final Contemptor are moving to secure that objective. Not in the sense of scoring victory points, but rather to get rid of that really annoying tactical squad that's still hanging around. Significant development here. A combined firepower from a Rhino with its Flamer and Combi Bolter and my Contemptor's Caries Cannon managed to wipe out the last 3 Marines from the Emperor's Children tactical squad. That effectively, I think, means they're not really going to be able to score that one for the rest of the game, which I think is going to be a big deal as we get towards the final tally of victory points. Death Guard shooting turn 4. I've combined firepower from the 2 tactical squads and the remaining missile launchers into the remaining Emperor's Children tactical squad led by Fulgrim. I used the frag missiles from the missile launchers because I needed volume of hits really. We generated an awful lot of hits but very few wounds, and most of those were saved. Consequently, only 2 Marines from that squad were taken out, which was a shame, but you know, there we are. It is what it is. My disabled Rhino took a pot shot with its Combi Bolter into the tactical squad as well. Desperately need to thin those numbers down because it's one of the last scoring units in the Emperor's Children. Got a couple of hits, but nothing came of it, unfortunately. Concentrated firepower from the Rhino's heavy flamer took out a substantial number of tactical support Marines, including the Legion Champion, which I'm quite pleased about. They failed their morale check, though, and they've run away, which has made Mortarion's anticipated charge that much harder. Let's see if we can get him in though. Death Guard assault phase turn 4. Mortarions declared a charge against the falling back tactical support squad. They snap fired, no gets hots, managed to get a single hit but no wounds. So now all we need to do is see if Mortarion can get his 5-inch charge with a fleet. Fleet's not required, he's already in. Mortarion's in, and you'll notice I've put him in base-to-base contact with his charge distance of at least, more than 1 model basically, so he gets his extra attack from the scythe. That means Mortarion's getting 7 attacks with his charge bonus as well. The Emperor's Children Tactical Support Sergeant issues a challenge.
Yes, and he's attacking first because of the bonus initiative. We need 5s to hit. Rolled 3 and 1 means nothing.
Mortarion's initiative 4, so he's going to hit at the same time as the rest of the squad. I'm hitting on 3s, and he's going to be wounding on 2s, and it's AP2 instant death. So that's 1 fail. Oh, 2 fails, sorry. 4 fails. Oh. So 2s to wound. That's 3 AP2 wounds.
And that is 3 dead legionaries, including Sergeant. So my tactical support squad strikes back. 2 of them guys that are already dead, they got their attack. So need 5s or 6s to hit, and there is 1. And now need 6s to inflict any wounds, which I don't.
Emperor's Children have lost combat by 3 on wounds, however...
There is Lord Fulgrim present on the battlefield, and one of his special roles, which is Sire of the Emperor's Children, is letting me add +2 to combat resolution for the Emperor's Children Legionnaires and Status units.
So the tactical support squad lose combat by 1 and need to take a morale check on 7 or less.
7 or less, and I've rolled double 1.
They love it.
They really enjoy that fight. Emperor's Children movement phase turn 4. At the beginning of my phase, I scored a victory point and also moved my tactical squad around with Fulgrim a bit closer towards the Death Guard lines. I moved my jet bikes a bit closer to Contemptor Dreadnought, and I will take it down in a minute. My Contemptor Dreadnought is also closing for the kill. Emperor's Children shooting turn 4. I really need to get rid of a Contemptor Dreadnought. I'm on long range with both of my multi-melter guns, but I really need to get rid of it. Can I blow it up? I need 3s to hit. So 1 hit, and then need 5s or 6s. Can I do it? No. Combined fire from the Contemptor Dreadnought and tactical squad led by Fulgrim managed to inflict 2 casualties to the Death Guard. Emperor's Children turn 4 assault phase. Contemptor Dreadnought unfortunately didn't make it to that tactical squad. And Mortarion sadly finished off the sad remains of a tactical support squad.
Death Guard movement phase turn 5. We've got a few more developments. My HQ squad, again, they're kind of stranded in the middle there. They need a target to get a bit closer to them, but that's ever the case with Death Guard. My tactical squads have both scored a victory point from the objectives again this turn. They're staying still. We might see some Fury of the Legion action in a moment. My immobilised Rhino is still immobilised. However, the Emperor's Children Contemptor's turned his back on it, so we've potentially got a couple of cheeky bolt shots into its back if I'm lucky. Over on this side, my Contemptor that's still going and my other Rhino are lining up the jet bikes for a bit of flamer action and maybe an assault there as 2. And then finally, my Mortarion has done his Shadow of the Reaper leap to the top of the tower so you can see Fulgrim and basically taunt him from there. And last of all, my Rhino over here, which is a bit redundant now, has just taken plenty of cover to deny a victory point from attrition. Death Guard turn 5 shooting. I've kept my tactical squad still because I want to hold on to the objectives, and I decided to utilise Fury of the Legion to try and do some damage to the remaining Emperor's Children tactical Marine squad. Surprisingly, or maybe not, as the way Michael's been rolling his saves on that unit, I've only managed to kill 2 Marines from that squad after that huge volume of firepower. My HQ squad, who have all got bolters, opened up on the jet bikes and singularly failed to do a single wound. Inevitably, after firing chem flamers all day, the chem flamer on top of my Rhino shooting at the jet bikes eventually went hot and I've lost a hull point. Still, the combi bolter did a couple of wounds, including killing 1 bike, combined with the Carey's Contemptor cannon from the Dreadnought and also Mortarion's Lantern pistol. I've managed to kill all but 3 of the jet bikes, which is a really great result. It's going to be a morale check for them now.
My jet bikes failed their morale check. They withdrawing 12 inches, but by a sheer miracle, they're still on the board. And hopefully next turn, they'll come back.
Finally, in this turn, my missile launchers took aim at the Contemptor, hoping that Tank Hunter was going to take him off the board or at least do some serious damage. We got 3 hits, a pen and a glance. But amazingly, the invulnerable saves managed to ignore all of that damage. So, other than slightly annoying it, it's still thoroughly intact.
Emperor's Children movement phase turn 5. We beat Desperate here. My jet bikes luckily regrouped, so they're good for some action. Tactical squad is going towards the Death Guards led by Fulgrim. And Contemptor Dreadnought is also closing for a kill, so hopefully we'll wipe them out. Emperor's Children shooting and combat. Jet bikes, no surprise here. They were snap shooting, they inflict absolutely 0 damage to that Rhino. So we move straight to the assault phase. Fulgrim, along with his squad, charge through cover that Death Guard unit over there. Same as Contemptor Dreadnought. And Fulgrim, thanks to his plasma grenades, does not suffer penalties for charging through cover. Now, he issued a challenge, but the Death Guard, armed with farming tool, declined. So Fulgrim's got 5 attacks base. Because he's charging, he's got additional 1. hitting on 3s, killing on 2s, 5s and 6s are instant death, but there isn't anyone who could suffer from this. So there is 6 attacks coming. Because of his Fireblade is mastercrafted, I could reroll 1 miss. Which would be that. Is that cock die?
Yeah.
Gonna reroll that too. Right, so there is 4 hits. And 1, 2, 3 Death Guardsmen. The combined attacks from Fulgrim, his squad, and Contemptor Dreadnought were really disappointing because they wiped out only 4 Death Guard legionaries.
That's it, gents. We are 5 turns apiece. Now, in this mission, we roll for an additional turn. Now, Dan, do you want a 6th turn?
I'm going to be honest. I don't mind either way. It'd be nice to see what some developments might go on if we get an extra turn, but I'm not bothered one way or the other.
Okay, and Michael, what about you?
There is a chance for Fulgrim versus Mortarion combat, so yeah, I'd go for it.
All right, so you're our guest today, so if you'd like to roll the dice, we need a 4-up.
Right, 4-up it is. Can we make it?
Oh, there we go. Game over. Thanks, Michael.
Thank
Great
you.
game.
Well done, gents. And what we'll do now, we'll meet you back out the front and we'll tally some scores.
Okay.
We're back, guys. What a game. Death Guard versus Emperor's Children. Ooh, good game.
Yeah.
Results are in. 10 victory points to the Death Guard and 5 victory points to the Emperor's Children.
Disappointing.
Now, it is worth noting, this is the second time we've done this interview, because the one we did 10 seconds ago, I didn't turn the sound on.
Yeah, it's a bit like Tenacious D in Tribute. This is our tribute to the previous interview, not the actual interview.
Not the actual interview.
Oh, it's so frustrating. So we've got like 10 minutes of footage with this going. It's not cool. Anyway, victory points. 10 versus 5. Dan, you did an amazing job. Tactical squads, you scored 8 victory points over 4 turns, 2 points a turn.
Yeah.
Bomb, racked them up.
It's so crucial. I mean, we say it all the time, and I think people forget it, but you got to play the mission.
Absolutely.
And, with the troops, you get them up there, get them somewhere, dig them in, score the points. That's how you win.
It was so successful. And then the other 2 victory points were scored from the attrition. Where you rolled a 3, it's D3. So you got 10 in total.
Yeah.
And Michael, you scored 5.
Yeah.
So you also had a really great start. 2 VPs on the second turn, and then in the 3 successive turns, you got another 1 a turn. So good, but just I think Dan had the advantage. All those rhinos and those tactical marines just.
Yeah, and as well as that, I tried to put pressure on your scoring units early on. Put a lot of firepower into getting rid of that unit in the middle, in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some really, really great moments in the game. Michael, your assault squad do really, really well. They're so aggressive, weren't they?
They did well, and the bolt pistol shots, they also were really well landed.
Yeah, that was statistically improbable, but
they inflicted some good damage. But then everything else started firing at them, so they were wiped off. But then with assault squads, you either go aggressive or just lose them early. So might as well just go for it.
Yeah. You get the numbers while they're there, That tends to be the problem, because you move them up, charge them, they do all these damage, then they're stood out in the open, and then everything else fires at them. It's almost like an exchange of units almost, isn't it? But
for a bit, that's how the game was. We were just exchanging units.
Yes.
But then I lost an impact, mainly because these guys landed elsewhere. I didn't want them there. And I ended up with a difficult choice where to put the guns at.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You both brought models back.
Yeah.
Dan, you've brought back Mortarion.
I have. As I said at the start, I'm used to using Mortarion in a transport, so I vacillated quite a lot at the start of the game about how to actually use him in this command squad. Mainly because I was expecting reserves to come on either in outflank because of your right of war. As soon as they were down, however, it became very clear that I needed Mortarion to go and clean house, where the assault squad had done all that damage to my heavy flamers. And where with he's surprisingly mobile with his 6-inch move and his kind of his ninja jump, Shadow of the Reaper, the official title, I believe. But of course, he does what he does best, which is killing infantry units. That's what he's really good at. Yeah,
he's fantastic at that. And this situation you found yourself in, Michael. The Plasma Tactical Sports Squad. They did scatter a touch, didn't they?
They did a bit too far away. Maybe I shouldn't rely on a scatter die. But at that particular part of the game, I felt like I need them there and I need them now. And they obviously had a potential to wound him, Mortarion, or force him to go elsewhere. Unfortunately, they were out of rapid fire range. So, yeah, I eventually went for a missile launchers because they seemed like a better choice.
Yeah, and certainly I'd agree with that. I think Michael made the best choice in that scenario, mainly because all of Mortarion's damage comes from him being in close combat, in effect. Whereas the missile launcher's got a 48-inch range, and also being in the place where they were kind of entrenched on top of that building, they're going to be putting out a lot more damage. And there's a lot more things for them to shoot as well across the board. It's target-rich environment.
It's definitely the best target, I think. But also, you were a little bit lucky. And I think if you'd got those 20... If you were in rapid fire range, you could have had 20 shots and you would have either cleaned out Mortarion or you would have cleaned out the missile launchers. But then it would have been a question of, wipe out Mortarion, but then couple the missile launchers coming in, or you would have done the missile launchers and had Mortarion coming in. So it was kind of a...
It was a hard choice. And it's worth to note that there was no overheat, gets hot, gets hot.
It did really well.
So that was very lucky. If they would only land like 5 inches closer.
It wasn't far
like
out.
2 or 3 inches out, weren't you?
It's really lucky.
Well, this is nice for you.
This is true. But, you had some great success as well when you outflanked your jet bikes. You one-shotted that Contemptor, which was fantastic as well. Really good moment there. And Dan, a couple of moments for you. Your tactical squad were just sat on those objectives, scoring your points. Those missile launchers were perfectly placed for the battlefield.
Yeah.
And then your other Contemptor just came up and took some jet bikes out, didn't they?
Yeah, he's. I love Contemptor dreadnoughts. They're really useful. I mean, I know people obsess about Leviathan sometimes, but missing out on Contemptors at your own peril. Really, I think they've got an awful amount of utility for the points they are as well.
Yes,
quite
especially
efficient
for the points they are.
Yeah, that is great. Good stuff. All right, gents. Well, we'll just quickly talk about Dan throwing the skulls.
Yes.
Now, you won the last one.
through the forbearance of my opponents.
All right. So you're the best in the country.
No, technically that's...
Yes.
Well, no, I don't think so.
According to Games Workshop, you are.
Well, momentarily. I am going to throw the skulls next week. Obviously, this won't go out before
then. Yeah, this will come out after.
If you do play me next week, thanks for the game.
And you've got word bearers.
I'm taking word bearers this time, which was started off as a bit of a painting challenge. So I've got thousands of points of Death Guard. I've got Sons of Horus Armoured Breakthrough list, which needs a bit of work to it to finish it off.
Yep.
But it feels a bit beat stick. It's not it's the kind of list where if people don't come prepared for that sort of thing, they can't do anything against it. And it's not a pleasant gaming experience. The word bearers, though, and David, you can vouch for this because we had a game the other day.
Oh, he's killing me.
We won't tell them what the result was.
It's not good.
Conclusions. But I think it's very thematic. It's got some stuff in there that's quite surprising.
Yeah.
It's got something for everybody. But everything in that army, something you can hurt. If you've got tactical marines, you can hurt stuff.
It's worth saying that Scoria took a D shot, a D smash to the face, though, didn't it?
Several.
Yeah, killed him.
Yeah. Never mind.
It was good.
It was. But yeah, so word bearers at Throne of Skulls. And like I say, if I play you next week, thanks for the game.
We'll see the certificates of the next game.
Maybe.
Great stuff. But all remains to say is, gents, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
You both put some good time and effort. I know, Michael, you come from Norwich and you got the training this morning, so thank you so much for doing that. Right. We'd love to have you back. Might twin you up with someone else, maybe. We'll see how we go there.
Yeah, I know.
You don't want to play UK number one.
Next time I'll come prepared.
Thank you. All right, I'll take
the invitation.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And don't forget, you can follow Dan on Instagram.
You can, Party and Shot. I'm sure you'll flash the name up. You can see all my new word bearers on there.
Excellent. They'll all be on there. And don't forget, you can follow the 30k channel on Instagram as well. Go to the Facebook page. We took a load of photos of this game. Some really great photos of the Emperor's Children and the Death Guard. Go watch more videos. There are loads of videos on the 30k channel on YouTube. Gents, again, thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure indeed.
Good. And we'll see you guys in the next game.